First of all, I'd like to start out talking about the gear that we use in rock and roll. We want to talk about using the right tool for the right job. You've heard that before in the construction site. Well, we do the same thing in rock and roll. We want to use the right tool. We're going to start with the guitar. As you can see, this guitar is kind of an oddball. You might recognize some of the parts of it, others you don't. It's a custom guitar. It's made by Don Grosh in Colorado. And the reason why I like it is because it has qualities of the Fender instruments that I grew up playing, and some of the qualities of Gibsons that I played, and even other things, which I'll talk about. But the basic setup is that it's like a Fender that's hot rodded, like an HSS is what they call them now, because it has, if you notice down here, 2 single coil pickups, and then a humbucker in the rear, which I split, and I still use the 5-position selector toggle here to get a lot of different tones, which is very common on a lot of 3-pickup guitars now. And I've reduced it to just volume and tone. And in the middle now, I put a blower switch, so I don't have you notice there's 3 knobs on a Strat. This is just tone and volume. So just to listen to the pickups really quick to understand how this works with single coil pickups. First pickup is very bright. It will hum, but it gives you a great tone, very similar to like what Stevie Ray Vaughan and Jimi Hendrix and you know, people like Eric Gale when he was playing his Telly. It's like a Telly pickup too. Curtis Mayfield, a lot of great guitar players that gets this front pickup tone. Now this is on a clean sound, but it sounds like this. With a little drive, it sounds like this. So it has a lot of highs and lows scooped out in the middle, but we use it a lot because it's throaty. It's got a lot of integrity to it, front pickup. When you combine the front and the middle, it becomes a humbucker. If you notice, if I turn the gain on, hear the hum. When I switch it, it goes away. Great invention. It's like a spread out humbucking. They're out of phase. You take this middle pickup and you have it wired out of phase, which is usually done at the factory, and it causes a humbucking. And you get that really nice, sweet sort of great for soul and R&B. If you put drive on it, it'll sound a little bit like a Layla kind of sound, like Clapton. Very sweet sounding, and has a really nice bell-like quality when you're playing clean stuff. If you put a chorus with that, an effect called a chorus, it'll just sound gorgeous. And then, you know, very glassy. So that's a very nice pickup for doing things where you want a pretty sound or a real nice percussive, like even banjo stuff. Kind of gets out of the way and it has a lot of mid-range, sounds almost like a banjo head. It's kind of cool. Middle pickup is this pickup. Don't use it a lot, but sometimes it's great for R&B, and you know, it's definitely a surfy sound. Very mid-rangey. Stevie Ray used it a lot. He wasn't afraid to use that pickup. He probably used 3 positions. I think he had 5 positions, but sometimes he had 3-position switches too. And so he'd be on this throaty pickup. And then he'd go to this middle one. He wasn't afraid to use that. It's pretty bright and pretty bombastic, but it will cut over a loud band. And we can also use it for noodling. Still on the middle pickup. Kind of nice, and it's also nice for like James Brown chords. Still got a little low end to it, as opposed to the rear pickup, which would sound like this. This has a little more body to it. So middle pickup is usable, but I use it on rare occasions. When you go to the middle pickup with the rear, and when my blower's up here, this switch here, which I'll explain in a minute, I'm on a single coil pickup rear, so it's very much just like a single coil on a regular Fender guitar. In fact, you'll see that we're getting a hum there. Different kind of hum, but that's when the humbucking comes in. But if I go to this position, again, we get that really cool, this is middle. When we go to the rear pickup with that, and that's like another one of those real cool, like Clapton when he was playing like Ocean Way kind of lead sounds. Very sweet, also nice for rhythm. Similar to the combination we had up here with the middle and the front, but a little brighter. So that's a really cool sound. Comes in handy for doing, if you have a chorus and you want it a little brighter, that's a nice one. And like I said, lead sound. Also pretty good for rock stuff. Like, it sounds really good like on stuff like, that's that middle position between the middle pickup and the rear. And if I'm not mistaken, when Steve recorded that, I think he was using like an Ibanez guitar or a Strat, and it was through a Champ amp face down in the studio with a mic in the back of it. Kind of cool, in the control room. So it's got a really unique, small little amp sound, and you get that by using the middle pickup and the rear pickup with just a little drive. It's very Fender-like. Then rear pickup, without it being a humbucking, just sounds kind of like a telly. Very snappy. You can play chords with it, with a chorus on, or just just like for a kind of a Rolling Stones. It's got a lot of bite. It gets over the top of the band, but it's got a lot of hum, as you can see, and it's pretty bright. And I don't use that too often. If I'm going to go to the rear position, I'll talk about the blower now. What I have is called a blower. What the blower does, if I'm like, let's say in this position here between the middle and the front, I'm on this sound, and I want to immediately go to high gain lead. Without having to change that, I can go to overdrive and just immediately push this down, and what it'll do is just go immediately to the humbucker with both coils. So I'm like hearing this clean sound. Then immediately I can switch that and go to drive at the same time, and then I'm a lead sound. Just kind of cool. And then right back to my clean without having to even change anything here. So that's called the blower. Not a lot of guitars come with that, but it's something you might want to consider. It's kind of cool splitting that rear pickup. These are the secrets we were talking about now.